All right, cool. Thanks, Monty. So we are going to be talking about how to find your tribe on LinkedIn today. And I am in about 2 minutes here. I'm actually just going to jump right into LinkedIn, and I've got a few tabs sort of pulled up, and we'll kind of workshop, where your people might be, how to engage with them. I do, though, want to just point out a couple of things here, big picture, right? So when we're using the language, find your tribe. It's important to note that you got to maybe think through who's your tribe. Who are the people that you want or need to get to know. And I want to point out that that changes throughout the course of your career, right? And just so what you're doing right now, that's probably not your forever tribe. I mean, there are some social circles that stick with you through life. But if we're using LinkedIn mostly for work and for a career, that just morphs and changes and evolves over the years. So if you find yourself, as a solopreneur starting a business, the kind of people that you want in your circles might look very different than it will 20 years from now when you're an actual CEO. Like you might keep that same title the whole way through on your profile, but when you're an actual like big successful business owner, the people that you want to bring in your circles, it might change, and then you might go through a season where you're doing sales, and you're going through a season where maybe you're doing talent acquisition, or you're finding investors. You just want to find friends who are colleagues in the industry. So when we talk about, finding your tribe, I want you to walk away from here going, all right, who should I be spending time getting to know? Because there is an investment. The investment is time, right? So you don't like magically get a network that's your tribe and they're going to like give a crap about who you are. They have to know who you are. They have to like you and trust you. And there has to be, I think a really easy guiding value is there has to be mutual value. Right. So if you're like, who's my tribe right now? Think about the goals you want to achieve, and then ask yourself, is there really, truly mutual value from us exchanging, time together in some way, shape, or form? And so if you've got that narrowed down, then you can go to a platform like LinkedIn and say, all right, now that I know who those people are, where are they going to be living on LinkedIn? What are they going to be doing on LinkedIn? What kinds of activities are they going to be engaging in? How? So that you can use what's available on the platform to find them and start a conversation. And I do want to point one qualifier on there before I jump into sharing my screen. If you know who you want to talk to and we find them, it is up to you to do a good job with starting that conversation, i.e., please don't spam people. So I just always want to throw that out there. So if you walk away here with some great insight on finding people, it is up to you to do a great job starting that conversation and investing in that mutually valuable business relationship. Okay, I am going to share my screen. Are we good?
We're good.
All right, great. So I've got about 5 tabs open here for different places that you might be able to find the people who are your tribe. So if you go here to your homepage, I'm actually just going to move. You probably can't see because your faces are all over on my screen. Here we go. When you first go to the homepage, there's a whole bunch of places where you could go. And I feel like most people spend a lot of their time, they're either on the homepage, like going through the newsfeed, or in messaging, or I feel like that's like 90% of the time, people's time. It's the newsfeed or messaging, right? And that's totally cool. But there are a ton of other things that you can do, like this little work button here. When's the last time you pushed that? Like there are some things in there that you can do, not even specifically related to work. There are, if I go to search, just do this. There are a lot of different things that you can actually look for outside of people search. And the search on like free LinkedIn has really gotten significantly more robust in the last year. I mean, I think about a year ago, you could not do an event search. I don't think you could do a course search, and I don't think there was a service provider search before like a year and a half ago. So there are a lot of things going on here that are kind of new. And so if any of this is new to you, Awesome. So what I feel like people tend to do when they're first going, all right, I know who I want to bring in my circles. The easiest thing to do, usually, if you're wanting to be intentional, is to go to people search. And I don't want to spend much time here on people search, but I do want to point out that this is the first place that people go. And if you are looking for, if you're using LinkedIn to achieve your work goals, what most people will find themselves doing is either they're looking for someone that works at a company, maybe it's a title, maybe you both went to the same university, right? Because you can do a school search there. There are all kinds of things that you can do within a person search. And that's kind of like meat and potatoes, table stakes. If you use LinkedIn, you're going to go here. So I don't want to spend much time. But if you're looking for a person, dig in to the search filters here, but I don't want to spend a whole lot of time here. Another place that you can go, and actually if you want to just mess with this on your own, I'm going to zoom here. You can see this where it's people. I could just do a drop down. So there's people, there's jobs, there's posts, companies, schools, groups, events, courses, services, and then there's some other stuff that aren't in there. So if we go to groups, I'm gonna do groups first because I think it's a short conversation. So if there's always a question, is LinkedIn groups dead? I don't even really want to talk about that a whole lot because in my mind, the group is a place where people have gathered with common interests. So you might not find that joining the group actually gives you a ton of help, but you've got a crowd of people who were attracted to that group in the first place. And so there's probably some kind of common interest or value. And that's what drew them to that group. So put on the back burner right now, do people use groups on LinkedIn? Are LinkedIn groups dead? I think that if you have a unique audience that's drawn to something niche and there is a group that matches it, I think it is worthwhile digging in there and just seeing who's there. I think that's totally worth your time. And let's do something on the cuff here. These are huge groups. Let's do the finance club. Okay. So if I go to finance club and I go like this, I can request to join. I can see the admins, but there's not much more that I can do, right? However, if you pay for Sales Nav, there is a little bit of a workaround so you can kind of feel out who's in that group. So if I go to lead filters, and then let's do groups, finance club, there it is. And then without having to join, I now know who's in the group, which is super duper cool. Now, if you want to have a conversation, and just say we're both in the group, that's totally cool. But if you are, for whatever reason, thinking, this group reflects an interest or a value system or some kind of life or work event that I share common ground with, and I want to get to know these folks, and you pay for Sales Nav, this is definitely a great place to start. And just keep in mind, related to is LinkedIn groups, are they dead or not? The reason why people kind of tend to ask that is the engagement tends to be a little bit low. So if the group is going to be something that is a short-term thing in someone's life, they may have joined a while back and it's not super applicable to them anymore. So don't assume that it's just don't assume that they're still there. You might want to just ask, like, hey, I was just looking to this group, see you're in it. Are you still XYZ, whatever. But if you want to find the folks, that's a really easy way to do that. So let's jump over here. So we're going to move on from groups and let's do events. Same kind of thing here, except events are a lot more up to date, a lot more current. They're hot right now. And there is let's use our own event, right? So we do LinkedIn together every week. If you are wanting to learn how to use the platform, especially for sales, marketing, and recruiting. And you're going, oh my goodness, everybody here probably shares similar values as myself. So you could go like this. Let's do, oh man, should I do the Sheldon voice from Big Bang, talk about molecular biology? So if I'm really into molecular biology and genetic engineering, and this is my tribe, I'm going to go, let's see who is in this event. I can't see unless I attend. So let's attend. Not now. Networking. I can go through all these different people, and they should maybe be my tribe, right? So all kinds of stuff that you can do there. Cool. So similar to group, you've got an event reflecting some kind of interest or value or life or work event. You can go through here. You can't, to my knowledge, see the attendees until you join. And so what you can do is if you're like, these folks are not my tribe, then you can leave the event. You can also actually do this. So here you can see Andy White and 7,000 other attendees. If I click this, I'm looking for people in this event, and I can go to all filters, and I can mess around here on the people filter. So if this is a really big event, I feel like most LinkedIn events don't have a ton of people, but this one does, 6,500 people. So you can go and say, you know what, there's going to be a small segment of overall attendees that I want to get to know. So you can apply those people filters over the events, and how you engage with those folks, that's up to you, but this is how you find them. Cool. Let's leave events and move to services. Services, this is kind of a big topic, but just as a boilerplate summary, you can be a service provider on LinkedIn. If you have that turned on your profile, you are eligible to be found in the services search. So there's a number of ways that you can use that. I'm thinking, if for whatever reason you want to build, for example, a network of colleagues, like we have our panelists here, right? So if I want to find my competitors and I'm comfortable enough having a conversation with them and making them my colleagues and peers, like we do here, then you can go to services, look for a service that is maybe in your same industry, and then there they are. Have a conversation with them. Makes sense? So here, let's do this. See all service provider results. All filters. So I might go like this. Maybe I'm a coach wanting to talk to other coaches, right? Sweet. There's my tribe, right? Maybe I am, let's do this. Oh, this is even only first and second. So let's take this out. What if I am really into copywriting and I'm wanting to create a group of copywriters? All these folks right here will be, I should just show copywriters. There's my tribe. Pretty cool, huh? So there you go. If that's the tribe you want to find, or you can use services to get there. The final one that I'm going to do is, actually two more. The next one is going to be content that someone posts. So if you go here to the news feed, it is a big, hot mess of whatever the LinkedIn algorithm feels like it wants to show you, right? So if you're trying to find an audience that talks about or maybe is interested in a particular topic outside of events and groups and all that jazz, you can go like this. So go to search, and then you choose from here posts. So the default's all. Go down here to posts, and there are a couple filters you can see here. Posted by first degree connections, me, date posted, sort by. What you're really wanting to do, in my experience, is do a keyword search though. So let's say we're talking about I don't know, someone give me an example. Mike, you're unmuted. Give me an example. Maybe
Panama.
Panama.
Yeah.
So let's use Boolean in the keyword. Panama. There you go. So if I do this, then I'm finding everybody who's looking, I'm finding everyone who's talking about a specific topic, right? What if I'm into, oh, let's just do copywriting in. Copywriting. And then I'm going to do not hiring, right? So these folks might be talking about copywriting or whatever the actual subject or topic is. Do a post search and narrow it down using Boolean in the keyword field. I think you're limited to 5 Boolean operators, which I don't really want to get into here today, but just go mess around with it and see if you can find your tribe talking about something on LinkedIn. And chances are good, if they are people who are posting, they're going to be more active on the platform, which is a big win for you. All right. The final thing here, and then I will get off the soapbox is, and this is going to be, you have to have access to it. So this isn't going to be for everyone, which is why I wanted to do it last. You have LinkedIn Learning, right? So it is available, I believe, for free, right? Through the library. And if you pay for a product, like I pay for SalesNav, then it's going to be available for you for free. But if you go to Learning, and let's say my tribe is video editing. So let's do a search for courses related to video editing, right? Or actually, let's do this. Let's do environmental engineering. See what's in there. I'm wondering, Josh Tucker, if this is for you. Let's see here. So this is by that really cool name. Got 25,000 people have gone through it.
Hello, and welcome to Sustainable People Design.
I can go through here and see everyone who's given the course a review. And I believe there's even, you can mess around with Q&A. So if these individuals have taken the time to go through and learn a particular topic, and that topic matches your tribe, that's a really big win. So you know that they've gone through it, you know there's interest, you know that they've dedicated time to going through it, and that's your tribe. Boom, there they are. Okay, so that is it. Really quick summary just to help everyone remember. I'm going to go like this. If you wanted to find your tribe, which by the way changes over time, I think the default, people do people search, and that's totally cool. But you can also look for content. You can also look for groups. You can use events. You can do courses and services. And all of those are really fantastic ways to find people outside of just the people search. That might be your tribe. So let's move into panelist discussion. If you are not a panelist, please hold off chiming in until open mic, and we'll make that clear when we make the switch. Now is your time. Anybody, I would love to hear from panelists.
I think once you find your tribe, what you really want to do is get them on a Sales Navigator lead list, right, Isaac? I mean, isn't that the?
If your goal is sales, yeah. If your goal is sales,
to single them out. So on your homepage of Sales Navigator, you're not looking at thousands of people. You don't know who they are. You're just looking at people that you've isolated. At least that's my approach.
It's a great point, because once you find those folks and you engage with them, there is no native way to save them all together in LinkedIn unless you pay for a product that can create a list. Absolutely.
Isaac, why don't you bring that screen share back up?
Sure.
I want to point out that, there's so many different ways to do different things on LinkedIn. If you start digging into its possibilities, it really seems like it's endless. But one of the things that we do with our clients is continually try and figure out how to increase their connection rate, when they're going out there and trying to connect. And all the things that you just walked through are absolutely fantastic resources to increase your connection rate if you engage it a little bit. So if, those first three that you brought up, groups, if you're going to connect with somebody from a group by going to Sales Navigator and looking at them, then going to their profile, messaging them with a connection, just going to the connect, adding a message to it and saying, hey, we're both in this group. I just joined. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that group and what value you've gotten out of it. You increase your connection rate percentage so significantly because you've immediately found something that they can connect with that you share together. And it's not a sales pitch of any kind. You're just asking them for insight. Same thing with the events, and really everything that you've shown here is a phenomenal way to get connected with people. If you take those and if you just apply them to messaging when you connect. So super awesome resource.
Awesome.
Can I throw another one out, Isaac?
Absolutely. I would love to hear what you do that I didn't talk about.
You get in on someone else's tribe.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that. So let's do, and here, if I'm going a different direction than what you were thinking, let me know.
No, you're going in a
connect-
parallel direction. That's similar, but I have more to add. But yeah, let's. This is part of it too.
Is this the other famous Mike O'Neill?
Maybe
No, that's
so.
the other one that booked the call. So here we go. Here's Mike. So if Mike has been really diligent about building an awesome network, then yeah, I can go to connections with Mike. And P.S. This is a setting you can turn off in your profile, so it's not going to be available for
I did
everyone.
turn it off.
Okay.
So you're only going to be able to see common connections.
Okay. So here we have common first degree. Yeah. So common connections. If someone has not turned that off though, you
with
can
someone
see
else
all
first.
of their
Better with someone
connections.
else.
Yep. So let's do Monty.
I'm turned off.
You turned it off?
I don't let guys like you come in and spam my network.
Best. How about
There you go, buddy.
how about Scott Allen?
Scott might be open.
Nope. All these pros in this call have turned it off. John Janch.
Laura's open.
Yeah, I actually had this specific experience of people who I didn't really know name dropping me with other people.
Mhm.
And so I turned it off.
Oh, well, anyways, yes, Mike, that's a great point. If someone has not changed that setting, you can view their connections, and then how you approach that is up to you. But if that's your tribe, that's one way to find them for sure.
So another thing in that category is with posting. So let's say Tony Robbins is
Oh,
posting.
it's because I just realized I had the keyword filter on up there. That's why it was providing so few.
Okay.
So posting, you said?
Yeah, in posting. So if someone really likes Tony Robbins, you can see the people who comment on Tony Robbins stuff. And if you dig Tony Robbins stuff too, then there's
sure.
your tribe.
Yep. Oops.
We're getting really high connect rates doing that. Say, oh, I'm a big fan of blank with people who comment, not just like, but comment.
Yeah, and by the way, with the Boolean search on posts on the post feed up there, unfortunately, you can't use boring and sucky as one of the things to filter out the posts.
Yeah, I couldn't find. Is it Anthony? Is that what he goes by, or is it Tony? Is it Anthony Robinson?
Robbins, not Robinson, Tony Robbins.
Oh, dear.
Tony Robbins.
It's Robbins, Robbins.
Ah,
We're connected. I'll give him a call for you, Isaac.
thanks. Man, I'm such a loser. So here we go. There's Tony. We can go to activity.
Yep. And look for someone with over 1,000 whatever.
Posts. 5 comments, 33, 240. Let's go back a little bit, give it time to 46. That can go. Big fan, big fan, big fan, big fan. Can I go through? That's a great point, Mike.
There's other ones that I'm not going to name drop because I don't want everyone going there to do this, but would have 10, 15, 20,000 likes and 600-700 comments. Just got to find
That's
the
awesome.
right one. We're getting connect
that's
rate 40, 50%.
That's awesome. That's great,
Yeah.
Mike. Thanks for that insight.
I'll add to that, as well as kind of transitioning to my favorite one tactic too is, one of the things we talk about in the virtual handshake is we talk about that for your network, you need both diversity and relevance, right? And this is where a lot of people get hung up because, if you, relevance is exactly what you're looking for when you're like, I need sales leads, right? And you're trying to find people who are exactly your target market. And we talk about finding your tribe, but diversity is your insurance for life. Having a diverse network is how you deal with big life changes, like when you need to find a job or you want to change careers, or you're going out of town, or you have a wedding to plan, right? And so I've cultivated a really balanced strategy over the years, but the trade-off from that is that for example, my news feed is all over the place because my network is very diverse. And so when you go into sort of focus mode, when you go into I'm trying to accomplish something right now, outcome kind of mode, it's kind of hard to just kind of shift into a target acquisition mode. And what you have to do is you really have to shift to targeted engagement. And like I said, my feed is all over the place. So what I really like is in Sales Navigator, the fact that when you do create a list, like Mike was talking about, you get them onto a list. Within Sales Navigator, you can look at just the feed of the people on that list. And so then you go and you say, hey, all right, it's the people I'm already connected to, and that's who I'm going to go target, this targeted group of people within my industry, I'm looking for marketing agencies in Austin, right? And I can go and I can have that list and I can see just their feed. And so where this connects to finding your tribe and expanding your tribe is that then when you have a sustained period of targeted engagement for a week, 2 weeks, 30 days, just within that cluster, then you get the organic network effect that you keep coming up in visibility with all those people that you're engaging with their first degree connections. So it ends up really driving a very targeted organic growth for you, or warm, or again, you start showing up in their searches more, you start showing up in their feed more, etc. So you can use that feature, Sales Navigator, to do very targeted engagement and drive very, very targeted organic growth. And a lot of it'll be inbound.
Awesome. It's great insight, Scott. All right. Any other insight, advice from panelists on where to find your tribe on LinkedIn before we move to open Q&A? All right. Forever hold your peace. It's time for open Q&A. So let's do this. I want to make priority whoever's brave enough to raise their hand and do and jump on with your mic and camera. We have some questions in the chat as well, but I want to make priority whoever wants to jump on live. So please do keep it to under 30 seconds so that we can make sure that we get through everybody's questions. All right, any takers on questions?
Isaac, did you want to start with the chat?
I want to make it priority for whoever wants to jump on live, and then we'll do chat last. All right, well, let's do chat. Since this brings up a question. Just do the Zoom raise your hand thing, and then bump to the top, and we'll bring you on. Okay, Nawab, question. I find that folks, and I do want to try to keep the questions on point, right? Because there's so many different directions we could take this. I'd like to keep the discussion on topic for how to find your tribe on LinkedIn. So Nawab, I find folks with whom I have most common values are my colleagues and peers. Totally. It's nice to network with them, but they're not my potential customers. Totally. Is there a way for me to pivot that connection to find prospective customers? That is a good question. I think that's more of a, is your tribe your customers or is your tribe your colleagues? And I think they're two different groups. And so if you want to, it's an easy win talking to your colleagues, right? And then with the right people, it can be an easy conversation as long as there's not a compete issue there to maybe have them bring you clients, or you just maybe delicately can ask, what their needs are. And if you feel like it's not going to burn a relationship bridge, because I get that, then you can sniff out what their business needs are and maybe say, hey, I'm a solution for you. But it feels a little bit uneasy turning that colleague peer to a client, because there's a risk where if things go south, you lose your friend. So I get that. That's my only 2 cents on that. Anybody else want to chime in on there? Good question, Nawab. Oh, let's see. Either questions in the panel or in the chat. Laura, is that a Zoom thing with the magnifying glass? No, that's an app I paid for in the Mac store called Cursor Pro. All right, any other question? Monty, you own Abound. What are you doing? You can just talk.
I just wanted to make you feel better because nobody raised
Okay,
But going back to the search that you were doing on the regular LinkedIn,
Mhm.
they have added options to that. Have they still limited the number of searches that you can do within that?
That is a really good question. I never am on a free account, so I don't know. I'm
not either. I was hoping
I'd love to hear if anyone knows. So there's the people search had been limited. I don't know though if they limited the other categories of search, like for groups and events and stuff. Does anybody have any experience there where you hit that wall? What it does, what it looks like is the page is kind of like half blurred, and they'll say, hey, it looks like you're using LinkedIn for work. You need to upgrade to do X, Y, and Z. Has anybody encountered that doing anything other than a people search on a free account? William has.
Yeah, when I do a people search, I get 3 results.
Yeah, so what about if you do a group or an event search after you've hit that wall?
That was new for me, so thank you for sharing that. But what I do is I have another tab open that shows me the 50 states in the United States alphabetically.
Mhm.
So I search for Alabama, brings up 3. Arkansas brings up 3.
Hmm.
And I just have to methodically
Oh,
go
nice.
through that list.
That's
That's
great. Like a puppy getting crumbs from the table.
Yeah, it says, please try premium. It's,
Yeah.
letting me know that life would be a lot easier if I invested in premium. So
Well, this is
that's their
little
way
off.
of that's their way of poking me to remind me that my life would be easier if I paid for premium. So there you go.
There are some things that you can do to find your tribe if you're hitting that wall with a free account. If you know how to use like Boolean search in LinkedIn, where you can do like the LinkedIn URL contains linkedin.com/events or whatever, and then in quotes like whatever other keywords you'd be searching for, that is a way to get unlimited free search using a search on LinkedIn, but not within LinkedIn. The kind of difference there is there are some things that you cannot do through that search in what's publicly indexed. So, but yeah.
Yeah, Isaac, are you still limited to like 5 operands with premium? It's like or, and it's done even with premium on the LinkedIn side?
Last I checked, yes.
Okay. So the upgrade would really be to Sales Navigator, not to premium.
Yeah.
For William.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
Shireen, 30 seconds or less, Shireen.
Well, no, this has been good. I love all the different ways to try to find your tribe. I do have a question. In fact, I have if I could, real too. First, when you talk about the events, is there a way to kind of do an internal search of events, right? Like if I were just looking for entrepreneurs, if I were just looking for coaches, is there a way to do that? Or do you have to scroll through all the events just to figure out what event might work for you?
You do a keyword search on the events. So you click the events, but here, should I just share my screen real quick and we'll workshop it? Here. So let's do this. John Janch, sporting the flannel. Good job, my man. Oh, here we go. It's being a little slow. Let's do events.
Oh, okay, I see.
And then let's clear that out. This is like a keyword field. So it's going to look
Okay.
for a word anywhere on the event or whatever kind of category you're searching. All
So you're
filters-
starting with the keyword before you then go down and drill down to just to select events.
Right. And you'll
Okay.
notice on events, when you do all filters, it's all empty. So you really only get one search, and that is the keyword.
Okay, okay,
Yep.
awesome. Awesome. Okay, so real quick,
So
my
let's-
second one was something that what was Scott said, and I really love what you had talked about when you talked about outcome mode, right? So you're looking for a very specific outcome, and then you do your search around that to kind of build your tribe. Is that correct? And if that is correct, can you maybe just expand on that just a little bit, because it just caught my ear, and I was like, man, that's okay. That's something to hear. So.
Well, I mean, if I don't know about you all, but I mean, I'm not in lead generation mode all the time, right? And so when I'm working LinkedIn, it may be very different depending on, what are my primary business objectives right now.
Right.
And so maybe I may need to be in lead gen mode, and that's what I'm trying to do, is build that audience. But I'm always working it. Right. I'm always working it. Even if I'm not in lead gen mode, then I'm maybe more back in, right now I'm more back in reconnect and revitalize mode. Cause I'm at a situation where, I'm figuring out what I want to do next. And the most important thing for me right now is not really meeting new people. Most important thing for me right now is reactivating relationships that I've had for 10, 15, 20 years that just,
Yep.
I'm kind of out of sight, out of mind. Right. And so then what do I do is I pick a target cluster of people. And so the thing for me to do right now is to have a short list of the people who I've had good relationships with in the past, but maybe haven't been as much in touch with, and make sure that I'm engaging with those people on a regular basis. Cause Mike, Isaac, Bog Berg, John Janch, these people start seeing my name pop up, and guess what? And by the way, and I'll, guess what? They contact me. And so this is actually one of the biggest things that I do when I talk about sort of the organic. I mean, like the whole strategy thing is to, the magic happens when you get the network effect. And the network effect is when people when people take action on your behalf proactively rather than reactively, and opportunities come to you, and they say and requests to meet come to you. And so that's what I try to do, is my strategy is focused on is sort of triggering the network effect, right? Because then if people are wanting to talk to me and wanting to catch up with me and wanting to say, hey, I just heard about something that might be of interest to you, then I don't have to deal with any of that cold calling shit.
Well, I've got a story that kind of illustrates that. Don't cry. So when I was in ninth grade, my little school shut down, so I had to go to a new school. And on the first day, 10th grade, I walked into the lunchroom, and I'm like the new kid, and there's more kids in that lunchroom than was in my previous town. And so you walk in there with no friends, and you see everybody sitting together in their little groups, their tribes, right? And that's where the football team's sitting, that's where the whatever group's sitting, that's where that group's sitting. And you can find and observe your tribe. That is totally different than sitting at the table. And Scott just described sitting at the table. So make sure that you find your tribe and make sure that you sit at the table. Otherwise, lunch sucks every day.
Weren't you homeschooled up to the 9th grade?
No, I was not. Not that I have nothing against that, but no, I was not.
You know,
My kids
Isaac,
are
on,
Did your
on
school
that,
shut down? I figured your
on
mom.
that note, very quickly on that note, it's the same as going to a Chamber of Commerce event or going to a networking event where you don't know anybody and you need to belly up to that small group to engage in a conversation. I have the one-liner that is successful in every single situation, and that is this. Hi, my name is Jay Taylor. I was told very early on in my life that you never talk about politics or religion at groups like this. And then I say, so, Jesus Christ, Republican or Democrat?
That's a great icebreaker, Jay.
That is funny. Hey, Chris is asking in the messaging, does your physical location affect search results? He's based in the US, currently trying to grow US connections.
Yeah, location. So when you do search, there are so many things you're looking for and so many things that factor into what the return results are going to be. If you're looking in a location for a location, use the location filter if it's available. But otherwise, yeah, what tends to happen is the results will be biased by both your location and where your network is at. Those tend to be the bigger influences on what's going to pull up search results. And that I found that to be similar for all types of search results for all the different things you can look for. That might change tomorrow and it might have changed yesterday, but typically, yeah, it's going to be location does bias it and so does your network. Yeah, good question. All right. Any final questions before we let everyone go? I have blocked off 11 more minutes. And so if you want to have your life changed, now's the time to ask a question. Laura, go ahead. Way to be brave, Laura.
Hi. So you mentioned about premium, and if you don't have premium, that you can get it. I do Boolean, I know about Boolean, but what was that sort of workaround? You sort of started describing a URL with a Boolean in, and I thought, I'm not quite with you. Could you show us that?
Yes, I will show it really quick.
I have Sales Nav, but I'm just really interested to know.
Yeah. So here, let's do this. Let's say you're looking for a company, right? And you'll notice that outside of Sales Nav, the URL structure of LinkedIn is pretty much the same, right? So linkedin.com/company. And then let's do maybe Google, right? So this is going to require that this is in the URL and that it has this. You can kind of dial it in. So, or maybe you're looking for a person, LinkedIn/in, right? Are you in the UK?
Yeah.
Well, remind me, what's the TLD for, or how does it, there's like is it UK dot or something? Or
no, it's just linkedin.com, isn't it?
is it instead of www, is there another?
I don't think there is a subdomain. Okay. No, it's just www. Okay.
So maybe I'm doing linkedin.com/in because that's the URL structure for person. And then I'm going to do, I have like a cheat sheet for like looking in the meta title, but it's like in title description equals, and that's getting way into the weeds, but you can, if you geeky, you can go there, but you might do like owner and.
So if you don't put and in the middle, it just automatically assumes that's an and.
I believe that's the case. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe you have to do. There you go. So yeah, you can do and or plus.
Yeah.
That's really weird that you two have come up first. Google must know something.
Yeah, so that's a whole rabbit trail to go down, but yeah, it's I would look into it. Just keep in mind that an easy win there, depending on how techy you are, is you want to do the what a search engine puts in the meta title
Okay.
is what's your easiest the kind of things there. So title, company, and then you can do the whole keyword. You can also geek out and do followers, the plus 500. So there you go. Okay. Woo-hoo. Okay, we've got 8 minutes left. Laura, does that answer your question? I'm going to lower your hand.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Lynn, you're up.
Hey, so Isaac, I had a question. If you decide to get a little gutsy and let's say you want to go on a Zoom call,
Mhm.
have you ever gotten on a Zoom call, let's say for the first time with, let's say I'm an artist, so I'm going to get on a Zoom with maybe 3 or 4 other artists, or do you recommend just doing it one-on-one that people might feel uncomfortable? I'm just trying to see if I can kill like one bird with, 4 birds with whatever with a stone, get a few people on. What do you usually do?
I think it depends on the expectations for the meeting.
Okay.
And I think if you're starting the meeting, you are in charge of setting the expectations, and you need to factor in, what is the expected, like what's proper etiquette and what's proper socially for the people you're inviting. Some people are going to prefer one-to-one. Some people are going to prefer more of a group. And so as long as you choose and set the expectation,
Okay.
I think then you just have to learn what works best, honestly.
Right. And you just check with the people and just see if you're comfortable doing this. This person does that. This person does this. I think it'd be a great idea. And then just take it from there. Right. Just,
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Hey.
a great question, Lynn.
Does everyone
All
know
right,
about
Shereen.
Lunch Club?
Lunch Club?
Has
No,
everyone discovered Lunch Club yet?
Never heard of Lunch Club.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
I'm not kidding.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think it's lunchclub.ai. Lunchclub.ai. Is it lunchclub.ai? It's lunchclub.com now. I highly recommend anyone who's interested in doing networking one-on-one, sign up for Lunch Club. Lunch Club has an AI-based algorithm AI-based matching algorithm that pulls info from your LinkedIn profile plus some questions you answer, and you can have up to 3 or 4 one-on-one meetings a week. And I have found it consistently interesting and enriching, and you can kind of say again kind of what your current focus is, and so and it's matched both on current objectives as well as deeper profile, exactly what we've been talking about. And
That's cool.
You just list times you're available and it matches you up, and you get an intro beforehand so you can check each other's LinkedIn, and it's all free. So
Oh man, if you have enough money to make that thing really blow up, you could rule the world.
yeah, they are. I mean, yeah, they're it's pretty freaking cool. Highly recommend it.
Cool. All right, Shereen, we'll make this the last question. Shereen,
Okay,
go.
so it's really interesting. It's not so much a question, but one, to Scott's point, I did join Lunch Club. I did find Lunch Club very interesting in terms of the people that I met. But what I decided to do, I was like, I have a whole network on LinkedIn. I'm going to create my own Lunch Club with the people that I already know to reconnect and all that sort of stuff, right? And then for anyone that's trying to reach out to connect, we are going to do a Lunch Club before we even connect. So it was interesting. So not only was it my challenge in terms of meeting people before I connect based off of, what's that guy's name? The Y person, Simon Sinek, but also based off of Lunch Club, I was meeting more people and connecting with them. But I said, I already have a whole network of people that I really need to reconnect with. And before they connect with me, to connect and have some great conversations. So Lunch Club, I do think it's great, but then I said, let me switch it and use LinkedIn. And then the second to what Lynn was saying, I thought was very interesting. But when I think about you trying to get people together, it's all going to be about your positioning, right? So maybe say I want to do an art collaboration or an art Zoom, call where it's a collaboration of artists to have this particular conversation in a very intimate setting, right? So they understand that it's a collaboration, and so that people don't feel like, I don't know these people, and they don't have that kind of shock factor, right? But again, I think it's all going to be about how you position the Zoom call. And I think there will be people who will really want to do that because they do want to collaborate probably in that art space. So that just came up and I just thought I'd point that out. So thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Shireen. All right, folks, we are just coming up on the hour, so we are going to button it up. If you are just joining us thinking you're early, but it's an hour later, we did the daylight savings. And so I know that's thrown a couple people off. So sorry about that, a little bit crazy. We'll be here next week at 11 a.m. Eastern. So there's a little countdown thing in the email. Hopefully that helps you out. So see y'all next week. Panelists, thank you so much for your time. And I'd like to especially thank our guest speaker today, me. All right, we'll see y'all later.